Greetings, this is my first screencast and I will be focusing on how to create right justified toolbars in Syncom VisualWorks 7.6. It is at a medium level of complexity and requires the use and understanding of the UI canvas editor. If you look at the launcher window, you can see its toolbar and you can see that all the icons are left justified. VisualWorks 7.6 doesn't provide a direct way to have icons justified all the way to the right, but with a few tricks that I'll demo here, you can produce left, right, and center toolbars. The ideas for this were developed when I worked at Adventa and were first used to enhance one of the differences comparison tools included in the ControlWorks framework. Thanks should be given to my former manager Becky Cooper for allowing me to share it with you. Here's an example of what can be produced with what I'll show you. Most of the trick is using overlaid views that end up displaying more than one toolbar. The use of views to hold secondary toolbars is something that I first saw in a screencast by James Robertson. He has more than one toolbar in his bottom feeder application. Creating right justified toolbars expands upon his technique. First, I start by putting down a view that I set up as a background toolbar. Next, I put another view on top of the background, which will hold the left justified toolbar. Going to the Position tab, you see that I've pinned the view to the left-hand side of the window, and that I've restricted the rightmost bounds to a fixed number. Next, I put down a view for the right justified toolbar. This time I have pinned it to the right-hand side of the window, and I've restricted the leftmost bounds to an offset fixed from the right side. Next, I have a view for the centered toolbar. More than one thing is required to keep it pegged to the center and over both of the list boxes seen below. Both the left and right hand proportions are set to 0.5, which puts them in the center. Next, I've set offsets to fixed values in both directions from that center point. In this open example of the window, you can see that the center toolbar moves back and forth right along with the center splitter as it is moved. This is achieved by putting the center toolbar view ID in both the left widgets list and the right widgets list of the center splitter. And like the center toolbar, its position is proportionally pegged to the center. Let's close the editor and I'll show you some details of the code and why some of these unusual choices were made. I have each of the toolbar views put into an instance variable, and they are all set to use lazy initialization. I create a new look policy instance from the global look preferences and set the instance variable to a new toolbar using a menu defined on the class side and tied to this application for its execution. If we look at the initialization code for the background toolbar, we see that the menu is some kind of empty toolbar. I have a background toolbar as the bottom layer in the set of views so that all three toolbars will appear to be as if they are one continuous toolbar with icons strategically placed across it. At first this might seem superfluous, but the UI of a user tool should not be distracting to the user. If a custom widget like this one were to put a speed bump in the user's visual experience, the functionality of the toolbar would be reduced. However, to make the background toolbar truly an empty toolbar, we have to hand edit the menu used in the bar. The menu editor doesn't allow an empty toolbar to be saved, so I created a menu with one item, saved it, and then edited the background, then edited the generated code to what you see here. Doing this prevents any bleed-through mouse click activity from being generated by the bar. While we are here, a few things should be noted. Each of these toolbar menus has a name that does not match the name of the view they are attached to. If you give one of them the same name, the builder will get confused during the creation of the window, and the error doesn't seem to reflect the real problem. Keep the names different, and the problem goes away. Earlier you saw that I restricted the leftmost bounds of the right-hand toolbar. The toolbar class adds icons starting on the left of the toolbar bounds and adds new ones to the right of the last icon. This happens in the toolbar instance method layout components for bounds : Syncom could change this to understand some kind of justification setting, but for now I have to restrict the size of the toolbars to simulate the justification. If you move this into where we can see it. If I didn't do this and I put the various toolbars next to each other, we would get a layout like this. It's usable, but it is visually distracting in a way that my restricted version isn't. Finding the correct bounds for the toolbars may require a bit of work, but the result is a better UI. In summary, right-justified toolbars are not provided by VisualWorks, but with a few tricks we can create them without requiring too great of a long-term maintenance issue. My next screencast will show how to ensure that secondary toolbars correctly respond to on-the-fly changes to VisualWorks look and feel preferences. Until then, have fun getting Smalltalk to work for you.